Welcome to the Stop Under Earning Masterclass. Welcome. How are you doing? So wonderful to be with you all. I'm so excited that you are here. Welcome to those of you who are with us live, and welcome to those of you who are catching the replay. I would love you to say hello if you're here live. Say hello. Where are you calling in from? Where are you tapping in from? We've got a beautiful global network of big-hearted business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders all around the world. So I'd love you to say hello, get to know each other in the chat. It's a pretty special group of people, if I do say so myself. Welcome. How are you today? I am so excited to share this information with you. And to take us through a powerful presentation, this masterclass. My aim is for it to be approximately 60 minutes and then open up for a Q&A after that. So I'm going to be sharing the information with you. I'm going to be asking you questions as we go. So I'd love you to write some of the answers to my questions in the chat so we can be as interactive as possible. And so I can hear some of your responses. If anything I ask you would rather remain a bit more private, you can just send it to me directly in the chat, or feel free to send us a message after as well. I'd really love to hear what's coming up for you, what's showing up for you, your insights, your awarenesses. It really helps me when I'm presenting to kind of have a bit of interaction with you. So gorgeous. Now, when we gather together as big-hearted business owners, entrepreneurs, change makers in the world, we make magic. So I really want you just to take a minute to land, to ground, to consciously connect with what we're doing today. I'm presenting information to you on one level, but on another level, I am the abundance activator, and you will be activated. And we are activating this space together. We are co-creating. So whether you're sitting back just watching quietly or you're more interactive, know that your presence counts. The power of your presence. And so I'd like you to switch off all distractions, to invite yourself to fully land in, fully be here, so you can fully receive and gather all the information from today's presentation. But also we're doing some magic. We're doing some manifestation magic together, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. So my intention is that you're always receiving and tapping into that wealth or source of receiving that's here for you now. So who's ready? Who's ready to receive? Who's ready to stop under earning? Who's ready to play with some really cool tools? I want to hear your yes, ready, welcome, amazing. Oh my gosh, so happy you're all here. So cool. So cool. Gorgeous. Alrighty. So we need your yes, because that opens up the doors to this beautiful work. And I'm just going to say that I'm going to share, some things with you that on a mind level, you may already know, right? You know a lot. I attract in, very intelligent, overly qualified, highly skilled people into this network. So I know that you know a lot, but I'm really about your transformation, your integration, and to really make some powerful money moves together. So what I want you to do is just remember that even though some of the information you may know on a head level, we want to help you to really integrate it, to embody it. So you're living it, breathing it, experiencing it. So if you feel that you are under earning on any level, you are in the right place. And let's dive in. You ready? You steady? Cool. So stop under earning. We are breaking through the invisible barriers that keep you under earning, overworking, hustling for success, and becoming a money manifestation master. So I'm going to be sharing that with you today in today's presentation. So this training is for you if you're an entrepreneur, leader, high performer, and you make your income from sharing your wisdom, knowledge, or message. So let me know if you resonate with that. But right now, you're under earning, according to you. You know you're capable of earning more, and you have the skills to earn more. And you want to earn more. And you feel held back by invisible barriers and can't figure out how to get unstuck. So let me know if you resonate with that. And it's definitely for you if you've done all the things, right? You've done all the trainings, you've done all the courses, you've done all the therapy, right? You've done all the mindset work and the manifestation work. You've done a lot of things, but you still find yourself stuck, buffering, looping like a crazy loon, peaking, flatlining. In this training, you're going to learn why working harder, hustling, or pushing will probably create some results, but it won't create the energetic breakthrough that you're really looking for and that I specialize in. And I'm going to share the 6 patterns that block money, keep you spinning, and disconnect you from your true passion and purpose. We're going to be going through those 6 steps together. And by the end of this training, whoops, gone backwards. All right, sorry, gone backwards. So I want to know if you feel any of the following. So I'm going to share some of the patterns that you may be experiencing. So I want you to think about which ones you resonate with, what you feel that you're in. So stuck or frozen. Is this you? It's been me so many times. You know what to do, but you feel stuck or frozen when it comes to moving forward or taking action. Who feels like they're there right now? Or within that stuck and frozen place, you tell yourself you don't know what to do, or you often feel foggy, hazy, have a lack of clarity, and can't concentrate. So who resonates with that? That has been me so many times, I cannot tell you. Or you're avoiding, numbing, or buffering. So this is where you're doing everything but, right? Finding all the things. I have been in this place so many times with all sorts of fun things as well. So I'm going backwards on my slides. So basically, you might be finding yourself like scrolling on social media. You're always busy, over drinking, overeating, overworking, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, cleaning. Maybe you have the world's cleanest toilets with all of your avoiding. Who resonates with that? I know I certainly do. So basically, you're doing everything except what you know needs to be done. So are you avoiding, numbing, or buffering? Or maybe you're looping. This is one of my favorites. You keep finding yourself in the same situation, right? Attracting the same clients or experience. You're looping in the same lived experience. But also you find yourself mentally looping. So like ruminating on things over and over again, mentally looping, hyper fixating on problems. That's one of the ways that I currently love to hold myself back. The looping, mental looping, hyper fixating on problems. So are you looping right now? Have a little think about that. Or you might be experiencing expansion followed by contraction. So I see this a lot. You're creating epic results, but you can't sustain it. Money comes in, money goes out. You get a great win, and then there's a decline. And you keep trying to get back to where you were, but you can't replicate it. So this happens a lot. When you're winning, right? When actually you're in a peak, you might find yourself wanting to burn the business down, hide, disappear, spend all the money, eat all the food, start an argument, or create some kind of drama. Who's experienced that one? Because this one's a fascinating pattern. Expansion followed by contraction. Or you might find yourself coasting or flatlining. So you're in much the same place you were a year ago, maybe things look great. They're not that bad, right? You feel like you should be happy, but you should be grateful. This should be enough. But deep inside, you want more. Oh my gosh, I've known that place so much. Who else has related to that situation? So there's this hunger for more, right? There's more. So I'm wondering which one sounds like you. It could be, you might be able to relate to all of them, like myself, but is there any place that you are feeling particularly stuck right now? So are you in that stuck place? Are you buffering? We all buffer in some ways, looping in the same cycles, either mentally or in your lived experience. You're peaking, but then declining. And then there's the coasting or the flatlining. So I'm curious which one you're currently experiencing. I'd love you to share in the comments below if you feel brave to share with us. Be good to know that we are not alone. One of the things I like to do is name the shame, right? Because we all do some version of this somewhere, somehow, right? And the more we can get out of that, the shadows of shame, and name it, it starts to move energy and starts to shift things. We want to look at it though and see what's here, what's alive for you. So the good news is about all these patterns, is that none of them are the real problem. They are the surface symptom. They are the surface issue. They're all just symptoms of something much deeper going on. This is my area of expertise, where we want to kind of go into the roots. And we want to find out what's being created, right? So all of these surface symptoms, the experiences you're having and the results that you're having, they're being created from something that's happening deep in the unconscious. Deep in the unconscious. This is my area of like special interest and my area of expertise. We're going to go into the roots system. And once you've addressed the root cause of your manifestation blocks, your blocks to creating, your blocks to receiving, your blocks to sustaining, right? You're able to experience breaking free from old cycles, old habits, old behaviors, right? That are keeping you stuck and looping, feeling empowered, feeling powerful, feeling capable to create your life on purpose, and tangible results, right? Seeing tangible results in your life of showing that progress, right? It doesn't mean it's like a straight line all the way up, but you're experiencing tangible results of growth, getting those results that you want, that you desire. And I'm going to show you now, I'm going to take you through the 6 shifts that you need to make today to help you with this. Are you ready? Are you steady? So why should you listen to me on this? If you haven't met me before, I'm Lara Waldman. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I've been living in London, England for way too long, 24 years. So I've got a funny old accent. I'm also known as the Abundance Activator. I'm the author of the book Money Manifestation Mastery. I'm a manifestation expert. I'm a wealth coach. I'm a healer. I started out as a healer and a channel over 2 decades ago. I have 2 decades of professional experience helping entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders to break through their money blocks and activate their next level wealth frequency, your ability to consciously create your life on purpose, guided by your heart, your body, and your soul. And my clients regularly experience quantum leaps in their income, their business, their lives, and stop holding themselves back and start to live their vision, live their purpose. Pretty cool. So let's head to my whiteboard. We're going to get off the slides and onto the whiteboard. So what I'd like to do is take you through my 6 steps now and break it down for you. We're going to be looking at some of the problems and the obstacles, but also some of the solutions to that. So how are we doing? Good. Alrighty. So you ready for step 1? Ready? Super. Let me move this piece of paper. So the first step is to declare. Now, if you don't already have pen and paper, I want you to be taking notes, scribbling tons of notes, insights, ideas, awarenesses, get them down on paper. All right. So step 1 to money manifestation mastery, to stop under earning, is to declare what you want, claim what you want, write that down. It is a very simple thing to say and a really interesting process in actually doing. So some of you may already have your vision boards, you may already be clear on what you want, which is really cool. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. So what I want to ask you, my question for you, so the one question for step one is, what do you want to earn? How much money do you want to make? That could be a monthly basis, or it could be an annual basis. What is it that you want to earn? I want you to write it down. By the end of this section, I'm going to be inviting you to share it in the chat. So if you already know, share it in the chat. But what I want to highlight here is the problem or the obstacle that comes up around this step. Number one, to declare what you want. So what happens for a lot of people when I'm coaching them on this very first entry-level step is that a lot of people don't know what they want. They don't actually know what they want. They haven't been asked, right? We're not really asked, well, what do you want? So that's one of the things. But I would also say it's buried desire, because one of my superpowers is to help you find what you want. And because it actually lives inside of you. It lives inside of you. Or the other block or obstacle to declaring what you want is that you are scared to say it. You're actually scared to say what you really want. I'm curious if anyone said that. That was me for a long time. There was fear, there was shame, right? Maybe I wasn't allowed, guilt. I wonder if anyone can relate to that. So you may be scared to say it, scared to claim it. Or, right, if you've got your vision board and everything already, you may know what you want, but you struggle to stay focused on it. So you'll like say it and then you'll just kind of go into all sorts of distractions or avoidance. So I'm curious where you're sitting with this step one. Where are you sitting with this step one? Have a little think about that. If you know, I'd like you to let us know what you want to bring in. I'm a big advocate of making your dreams and desires visible. It's a very powerful manifestation step to declare it, to say it. So the solution here, right? This is my, and some of you know, but some of you don't know that I'm a most extraordinary artist. So just you'll discover very, very soon. So this is a seed. This is a seed. So claiming what you want, declaring what you want, is like taking a seed and planting it in the ground. So your wants and desires live inside of you like a seed of consciousness. So that's how I see it, and that's how I experience it. Your wants and desires are actually waking up something that lives inside of you. And a seed has all the potential for growth, but we need to put it in the ground, right? It needs the right environment in which to grow. So we need to put it in the ground. This is the ground, and this is the seed being put into the ground. That's what's happening with this drawing. We put it in the ground, and eventually, right, with the right environment, we can start to grow new roots and shoots, right? New roots and shoots down, and growth starts to happen. What most people do, they don't even plant their seed, right? They don't put it in the ground. Or they put it in the ground, and then they dig it up going, why aren't you growing? Why aren't you growing? What's happening, right? Whereas we know with the seed, there's all of this growth that happens underground that we cannot see. Don't mess with that seed, put it in the ground. So that is step one. That is step one. So I just want to share a few little client stories. So Angel was one of my clients who went through the Living Abundance Mastermind program, my 12-month program, and she actually came into my Living Abundance Leaders program, my next level program after that. When Angel first started in the mastermind, hard work was her religion. She was working 80-hour weeks on the very much the hustle and grind roller coaster, thinking that she had to work hard to create results. She was doing quite well in her business, but from a place of a lot of hard work. And her seed that she put in the ground was that she wanted to make 10 grand a month from her sofa, from her couch. And she learned my money manifestation mastery processes. And then within a few months within the mastermind, she was making over 12K a month from just one client. And that was just the beginning, and it's been growing since. So that's an example of putting your seed in the ground and making a choice to do things from a different place. Okay, super. Ready for number two? Ready for number two? What you gonna do? All right. So after you have declared, put your seed in the ground, what happens next? So my question for you is, what comes up for you when you declare what you want? What comes up for you when you claim what you want? There may be thoughts, beliefs, stories, memories. What comes up for you? Body sensation, feelings. This is where you want to start to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on here. So that beautiful, beautiful seed we have planted and what you're declaring exposes a new problem. Once you got clear on what you want, we have a new problem to deal with, right? Which is, ready for my next amazing drawing? Oh, yes. Your perception of reality. What you think is or is not possible based on your lived experience, the family that you grew up in, the society that you grew up in, the culture that you grew up in, your past lived experiences, or perhaps experiences that you haven't had, past trauma, ancestral trauma. All sorts of things create these glasses that you're wearing that create your perception of reality, what's possible, what's not possible. So again, you may know this, right? That your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories create your reality. But the big challenge here is it feels like truth. It just feels like reality. It feels and looks very, very real. You'll have a lot of data and evidence to back that as well. So this is a very, very important step that we need to work on rewriting that story. We need to change your story, transform your story. And this is part of the healing or transformation journey that we go on with this work. So I would love you to share in the chat, what comes up for you when you claim what you want, because this is where we start to expose, right, your perception of reality, your story, and we want to go in and change it. We want to go in and change it. So there's different levels and layers, and I'm just curious, what's alive for you now? What's the one thing that's coming up for you right now when you claim what you want, declare what you want? Have a little think, have a little feel, and please share. I want you to breathe, because we're starting to do some beautiful energy work with these questions. Breathe with your beautiful body. So I have another example of a client of mine who went through the Living Abundance Mastermind. This was Julie, who was superwoman, full superwoman, the sole earner of the family, 2 kids, pregnant. She came into the mastermind with a very clear intention. She declared that she wanted to make 25K maternity leave so she could take 3 months off when her beautiful baby was born. And she far surpassed that, learning how to rewrite some old stories around being supported and receiving. She wasn't having to carry all the weight of the world on her own shoulders. And she actually far surpassed that intention of 25K and transformed her business, wrote a couple books, amazing things happened. Gave birth to a baby, gave birth to some books as well. But she got very, very clear on what she wanted, and she rewrote some of those stories or those beliefs, right? That she had to superwoman it, carrying everything, all the weight of the world on her shoulders, being, unsupported, having to carry everything by herself. I'm curious if any of you relate to that. I know I certainly do. So the solution to this step is we need to start a journey of rewriting your story. rewriting your story. So a very simple solution to this is you can write, it is possible that, and then you get to fill in the blank of the thing that you want to experience, like the money that you want to earn. It is possible that I earn. It is possible that I make. It is possible that I create. And we start opening the doors of possibility. I'm going to be taking this step deeper and further with you. Beautiful. So even though it all feels very, very real, there'll be all the data and evidence to prove you right, we need to remember that this is a story and a perception of reality, right? And there's past stories and traumas. It's like putting kind of mud all over the glasses. That muddies your vision. That looks like reality. We don't even realize what glasses we're wearing. We want to rewrite that story. It is possible that. So I wonder if you want to share some of the stories you're rewriting in the chat and let us know. Declare it, communicate it, make it visible. And we're going to move into step number 3. Step number 3. All right. All right. So we're going to spend a little bit longer on this one. I've done a whole long masterclass just on this step alone. It's deep, it's powerful, it's profound and beautiful. This step is I want you to write down. So number 3 is release. And I want you to continue writing. Release the energetic roots by feeling in. Release the energetic roots by feeling. So I have a question for you, right? We have declared what you want. You've revealed a few thoughts, stories, beliefs around claiming what you want. I have a question for you that may or may not reveal an answer. So when I asked you that question about what you want and the stories around it, what is the feeling, and when we're looking at the blocks that's keeping you under earning, these invisible barriers to receiving, what is the feeling that you don't want to feel? What is the feeling that you don't want to feel? I'd like you to breathe into that for a minute. That's my question for number 3. Super interesting. What is the feeling that you don't want to feel? So with this step, release the energetic roots by feeling in. The challenge with this step, the problem with this step is we are entering a blind spot. We are entering the unconscious. We are a little bit in the blind spot. We could be in a blind spot with step 1 and 2 as well. But this is where we're going into a space and a place that is very illogical. That your intellect might want to do a bit of, defending against. I call it intellectual superiority or intellectual protection. This is where your know-it-all may come in and be like, I know this all already, thank you, right? Where we like to protect and buffer against something that we can't see. Remember that the blocks are in the root system. So when it comes to manifestation work, we are often working on these kind of higher levels, if you will, right? So we've got the heart center here, kind of maybe connecting to what you want in the heart, or we're doing kind of mindset work, right? We're doing visualization work, which is kind of these sort of higher realms. Maybe calling on the angels or all these kind of unseen energetic worlds. We tend to be working a little bit more on these higher levels of the body. My area of expertise, and when it comes to manifestation, the key is really going into the roots. And this is what I found over a lot of trial and error and exploration, where I found that the blocks to money, blocks to earning money, actually live in these lower centers of the body. We're starting to go into the root system. the pelvic floor, the pelvis, and the solar plexus or the stomach areas. This is where I find that the blocks usually live. And if you think about it, with manifestation, it works similarly to birth, right? The creation, the source of creation starts happening in the womb space, right? And when the baby grows and it's ready to be birthed, it goes through the birth canal, through the pelvic floor, right? A very similar process happens with manifestation, with creation. Our creative center lives inside the pelvis, and we birth that through the pelvic floor. We're manifesting, we're taking an idea, an intention, a desire, and we're manifesting it into reality. So if we remember that we planted that seed lives in this part of the body. And we want to start to grow the roots down and in, down and in, and down and in. And we're starting to go into the energetic roots. Now, the challenge here, where most people get stuck, and this again, it's such a simple thing to say, and it's a whole other thing to journey through it, right? Is what stops us, right? Is not wanting to feel. This creates a barrier of separation, of disconnection. And it has a lot of people going into spiritual realms, something called spiritual bypassing, which I was queen of for a long time, right? Disassociating, fantasizing, right? Going into the mind, right? Getting all caught up in the head, right? Where what we need to do is go down in here by feeling. So we release these blocks and barriers. We release this block and barrier by feeling. Feeling the feels that you don't want to feel. So we release the energetic roots by feeling in. So what's that feeling that you don't want to feel? And holding a space to alchemize through feeling. So it's incredibly counterintuitive. And everything in you is that's where we get all caught up in the heads. We're caught up in buffering and all those things that we were talking about earlier, all those forms of distraction is keeping you up here, keeping you disconnected from here. And yet this is the key. This is the gateway. Okay. So what is the feeling that you don't want to feel? What is the feeling that you don't want to feel? It'll be a feeling that doesn't make you feel very nice. It's just a feeling. And when we can hold a safe space to feel, right, we can start to transform and to alchemize and go into gold. There's gold in there. There's gold in there. So I call this the fortune in your feelings. And it's essential that you have a safe space to be held and supported through this transformation work. This is what I do with my clients. We hold space for you to transform, for you to alchemize, release and let go. So I have another story from a client called Josie, who was inside of the mastermind. And one of the things that she found, she's a mom, a podcaster, living a great life in so many ways. But one thing we found is she was struggling receiving personally. And we found out that she had blocked her power. She had blocked her power. She had dimmed her power and dimmed her light, which is a pretty typical thing for people to do. And we created a safe space for her to reclaim her power, reclaim her creative power in all the ways, transforming all the ways that she was dimming it or hiding it or buffering from it. And one of the very cool things that happened in her situation, which has happened time and time again for clients, is actually what happened as she started reclaiming her power and getting her energetic system working and flowing. Her husband doubled his income. Then he had even a more increase of income as well later down the line. And it was extraordinary because it impacts those around us. So she reclaimed her power, reclaimed her creative power, and it actually helped her husband with his finances, which I've had so many testimonials like this in my house as well. So very, very cool stuff. So number 3 is to release, to feel those feelings. Okay, this is the bit that's very illogical and it's in a blind spot. Your brain might be like, So just witness what comes up with that one. All righty. Beautiful. So number 4. You ready for number 4? So this is all building upon each other, just so you know, All right. So number 4 is to connect. Connect to who you must become to receive what you want. Connect to who you must become to receive what you want. And if you've been on any of my other trainings before, I also call this step embody your wealth. But really, we're connecting to who you must become in order to receive. So this is present day you. This is who you are now, right? Where you are currently, how you're currently thinking, how you're currently feeling, how you're currently perceiving, what you're currently believing, your lived experience, what you're currently doing and not doing, right? This is present day you, what you're not feeling, right? This is where you are now. And one of the hacks, one of the manifestation hacks between where you are now and where you want to be, right, is to connect with someone I like to call future wealthy you. Who you are when the money is here, when you've earned the money, when you've made the money, when you've created the money, when you've manifested the money. Future wealthy you. So the problem here is we tend to spin in this place. We tend to stay stuck on a track of what we know, our comfort zone, habits of behavior, what we do, what we believe, how we think. We very unconsciously, without very little effort really, can stay in this cycle. Just doing the same old thing, thinking the same old things, right? Believing the same old things, feeling the same old things, or not feeling the same old things, right? That's the problem. And so one of the ways to hack this pattern or cycle is to tap into future wealthy you. So you start to tap into imagining, see, feel, imagine, know who you are when the money that you've declared is here. So we're starting to future hop. We're starting to tap into your future. Maybe it's 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, depending on your money goals and desires. You don't need to know the timeline, by the way, but it's in some time into the future, right? So what I want you to think of is, who are you? This is my question for number 4. Write it down. Who are you when the money is here? Who is this version of you? How are you when the money is here? There is a difference between present day you, your current lived experience, your current financial reality, and future wealthy you, the version of you that's figured out how to earn that, create that, make that, build that. And the inner activation of this is who you are becoming, and who you are at this level. And it's different. It's different. This is you empowered, connected, right? You figured out a whole bunch of things. So we want to tap into that. Who is this version of you? That is my question for you. And I'd love you to share in the chat. I'd love you to share in the chat. Who are you when the money is here? Future wealthy you. So with this step, what you want to do, you can hashtag lead from your wealth. So you're wanting to get to know who you are and how you are when the money is here, and starting to allow this part of you to be your leader, to be your guide, to be your mentor, right? Focused in the future, where you're going. For most of us, what we do is we're stuck in the present that's led by our past, unconsciously. And so we need to hack into the future, be like, hey, what's different in this future? Future wealthy me. So I've got a really cool story from one of my clients, Isaac, who is in the Living Abundance Mastermind. He's actually one of those ones that experienced landing big contracts, around a 30K contract, sort of inadvertently through his partner doing this work. And his partner was in the mastermind, and then he started playing with the work and started landing big contracts and having growth, and came into the mastermind. And he used this exercise, which was very, very cool, where someone approached him for some work and they offered him a contract, and he tapped into future wealthy him, and his future wealthy self asked for double what they were offering. And they didn't even bat an eyelid, and they said yes. And it was a nice, big, hefty contract. And he was like, he kind of embodied his future wealthy self and owned the throne. And they just were like, okay, right? Amazing stuff. But the most important thing, what he said to me, what all my clients say to me, is this is all like the beautiful cherry on top for a much deeper and richer reclaiming of your power and your worth and your value. It's pretty friggin' cool stuff. So that was really, really awesome story. And what we do here is this future wealth you is going to take you on a journey of change and transformation and evolution. From your current levels of thinking, perceiving, believing, doing, not doing, into new ways of thinking, perceiving, doing, and not doing. So this is what you want to start to get to know. It might be a little bit uncomfortable as well. So beautiful. Beautiful. Future wealth you, just give you a little stroke. Amazing. All right, so that is step number 4. Future wealth you. Connect to future wealth you. Who do you need to become? This is the inner game. This is the inner shifts, right? All righty. So step number 5, stop under earning, is to close the gap. To close the gap. By taking the uncomfortable action, right? Doing the uncomfortable things, feeling the uncomfortable feels. It's easier said than done, but it's actually very simple. So my question, so if we have present day you here and future wealthy you here, we need to start to close the gap or bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So I just want to ask you, I'm going to kind of ask your, what I like to call your wealthy wisdom or your inner guidance, but also future wealthy you that actually lives inside of you, by the way. It's the part of that seed that we planted a little bit earlier that's blossomed and grown. What would you do, right? What action do you know you need to take? Like if you knew you couldn't fail, or if you had all the resources, like all the money, all the time, all the support, the team, right? The future wealthy you has in place. What would you do if all the resources were there, right? And you knew you couldn't fail, you knew you'd be loved, you knew you'd be safe, nothing bad would happen. What would you be doing that you're not currently doing? Another question for you. For your wealthy wisdom within. So, this is like, how does future wealthy you think and do versus present day you? So what we want to do is close the gap. What we want to do is close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And the fact is, you're not going to just leap and hop from there to there. What you're going to be doing is taking lots of little steps. Right? Lots of little steps. And there's a lot more little steps, little baby steps, little action steps, and starting to build and starting to bridge one step, one brick at a time. And this is the work, right, that most people don't want to do and won't do. Why is that? Why is that? Because, right, here are some of the problems. Here are some of the problems that come up. There's where you are now, and there's where you want to be. one of the objections that come up is, I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know what that next step is. So we don't know how. We don't know. We're missing information, right? Maybe it's, I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. It's another objection that comes up. I don't have the resources, right? And what I'm starting to discover is, having done a lot of dismantling work, it's actually that it feels really uncomfortable. It feels bad. It's a feeling you don't want to feel. Why is that? Because doing something you don't know how to do, or doing something you haven't done before, doesn't feel good, right? It feels vulnerable. It feels scary. It feels risky, right? And we don't like how to, like, there's some gaps you need to fill here, right? Some learning gaps, some education gaps. There's the skills you need to learn. There's some things you need to unlearn, right? We don't like not knowing. It doesn't feel good. It feels like weakness, or you might feel stupid, or we might feel shame. So it just kind of feels bad. Change can feel really uncomfortable. And the mind comes up with a whole lot of stories. There's a whole lot of avoidance there. So what kind of happens here, I've learned this the hard way as well, is with each of these steps where we kind of actually hit, like there's a pit and then a peak, and a pit and a peak, and a pit and a peak, where you can go into these very uncomfortable stages that feel really bad as you're learning or unlearning, as you're going into the unknown, as you're going through change. And it just feels bad. And that can be emotionally, mentally, and even physically. And so this is part of what we lovingly call, like, the river of misery. River of misery. It feels bad to change, to be in the unknown, right? And one thing that I didn't know a long time ago, that it's actually completely normal for this process to feel bad. And I used to think, it feels bad, there's something wrong. Or it feels bad, I'm wrong, right? You know, it just feels bad because it's uncomfortable, because it's new or unknown. We're learning, we're unlearning. So, and on these steps that you're taking, you're going through identity shifts and identity changes. And what's super interesting is what I work with a lot consciously is really working consciously with death and consciously with grief. And understanding that as you're leaving present day you and moving into future you, even though you might want it, you're going to have to go through change, right? And it's sometimes external change, but it's internal change about how you identify, right? Who you are and how you are, what you think, what you believe. And all of it feels uncomfortable. So when I was deep in my kind of spiritual healer worlds, right? I was in my love and light spiritual bypassing phase, very gifted healer and channel, and tapped into all this wealth of beautiful information. But I was really cut off because I hadn't really done work through some of my old traumas and my old pain, discomfort. And future wealthy me was like very powerful, very focused, very clear, very direct, right? Super visible and very different to how I was. You know, I still have all of those traits, like the spiritual and the love and connection. It was a lot more focused, a lot more badass, a lot more powerful, a lot more empowered, a lot more embodied. Right? Spiritual bypassing me was a little bit more just floating around. And I cut off from certain parts of myself. So I cut off from some aspect of my power. So, right? And I had to go through a grieving of letting go of this kind of spiritual world and the spiritual scene and certain communities that I've been involved in. And I was being guided into more networks that were, you know, more business. CEOs, entrepreneurs, and it wasn't my world. It wasn't my scene. And I was very confused. I didn't understand. Felt like quite a harsh world. Turns out there's a whole scene of spiritual, heart-centered business owners and entrepreneurs, and I didn't know at that time, right? I'd sort of judged business and money to be bad and wrong. I'd really created a lot of separation between myself and money. Had zero interest in business at all. I was interested in healing and spirituality and all of that, which I still am. So I went on a journey of what I like to call integrated wealth. So that's just an example of my personal story. And there's another level, right? There's another level I'm still moving forward into. So we go through identity shifts and changes. We go through personal shifts and changes. And then we have to go through like business shifts and changes. And what worked for you, what got you here is not going to get you there. So there's certain skills or certain things you do or certain things you don't do that got you here. And then you have to change, right? There's some things that like work and they're like, damn it, that thing doesn't work anymore, right? So for example, I used to do a lot of work. I still do, but like a lot of kind of energy work and meditation and mindset work and all this stuff. And now my guidance is much more like action time, like yes, all that. So I still have that as part of my life, but I used to like do it all day long. And it was like, oh, that thing I enjoyed doing so much. I need to do other things like learn about business, running a team, accounts, all that stuff. So it was like learning new skills, team leadership, management, all of that stuff, right? Where, you know, past me was just like spend a lot of time meditating, being out in nature, which I still do and I still love. But it was just new skills. Felt uncomfortable, felt bad, felt uncomfortable, felt unknown. So those are just a couple like examples from my personal life. But how about you? Like, how does this apply to you? So what's so interesting is that what you want, right? So this is what I think about manifestation now, where I sit. It's what you want and what you desire, I believe, is calling you home to your power, right? Calling you home to who you truly are, to your next level of evolution. And it's like, it's the potential, just like the seed is the potential for growth. But we've got to plant it, we got to nurture it, we got to take care of it, we got to grow it, we got to look after it. Right? And there's this potential and power inside of you. And this is for me, future wealth you is you when you're more empowered, more in your power. You're more connected. You've grown, you've evolved, you've learned, you've unlearned, you've dismantled a whole bunch of BS and you've reclaimed a bunch of cool stuff. Right? So what I really think now is, because I don't know if any of you have actually manifested any of your dreams or desires, like what I've realized, which is so interesting, is like we think we want the thing, right? We want the external thing. And we do, but once you get it, it's like, oh, that's just like my new normal. Okay. And then we're like, and next, and what else? Because we are creative beings, right? We're here to constantly grow and explore and create and evolve when we're feeling really alive and on purpose. And when we're tapped into what I call your wealth frequency or your wealth current, it's your creativity, it's your power, it's your consciousness that actually wants to create. And when you feel safe and held and supported and well-resourced, that's what we naturally do. And I also believe that we're naturally very generous from that place too. When you're very well resourced and well looked after and you feel safe and secure, what do? We want to share, right? So I actually think it's pretty enlightened myself, right? Integrated wealth. So this is just my point of view from what I've learned and the way that I play with this stuff. But I think that fundamentally, this money journey is an empowerment journey. And this is a journey of growth and evolution and transformation. Yes, it's about the money and all that that can do and provide, but really it's also about what are we giving and how are we serving with it? So it's serving yourself, for sure. You need to be well resourced, but there gets to a certain level of income where like, okay, cool, my needs are met. Like, what can I create? What can I give? What can I contribute? And that I'm really interested in working with people in this level who really like big givers. Like we want to serve, we want to create change, we want to transform. And in order to do that, you have to make sure you're well resourced, well paid, that you're earning, you're receiving. Otherwise, you just can't. Trust me, try it, doesn't work. Rejecting money doesn't work, unfortunately. But we don't want to be obsessed with it, right? So this is about when you're empowered, like how are you? How are you with money, right? It's all about our relationship with it. I'm going to keep wanting to stroke future wealth for you. Beautiful. All right, cool. So what is landing? How is this applying to you? Like this is like, again, we're sort of in a blind spot We're a little bit out of logic now, but this information actually lives inside of you, that seed of consciousness. All right, beautiful. So bridging the gap between present day you and future you is not going to feel good. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like, I don't know how. Right? And this is part of our manifesting journey, being with the unknown, creating into the new, creating beyond your past, right? Creating beyond your present, having a new lived experience. And that can make our brains go, bah! Survival brain goes crazy. So we want future wealth you to be your guide, to be your mentor, to be like, hey, keep going, next step, next step, next step, next step. Lots of hits and peaks and pits and peaks in the river of misery, right? It's part of the game. It is the game. It took me a long time to get it. It is the game. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's not that you're a failure, right? Anyone who you see who has sort of any sort of external success is getting their ass kicked. Trust me, because I coach a lot of them, right? We get our ass kicked. I get my ass kicked almost every day in the best possible way, okay? And this is why it's so important to get really clear on what you want and why you want it, and you're willing to go on that journey. So I'm willing to go through a lot of discomfort to get what I want, because I know what I want, I know why I want it, and I know why it's really important. And it's also like kind of cool. Hard and cool. All right. We're moving into our final step. You ready? Steady. Step number 6. Get support and upgrade your environment. Get support and upgrade your environment. So you may have heard about the power of our network, right? How influenced we are by those that we surround ourselves with. It's a very interesting thing, the psychology of that, like who we surround ourselves with and the impact that that has on us, often quite unconsciously. So the network that you hang out with, that can be friends, that can be family, colleagues, you know, the area that you live in, will be mostly unconsciously informing you about what is or is not possible. And we are influenced by our environment. We are influenced by our surroundings. And it's not good or bad. It's just is what it is. And so what's really, really important is that you think about the environment that you're in. And in order to get the results that you want, think about the environment you need to put yourself in. Right? The power of influence and being influenced in the way that you want to be influenced, right? So this was like a huge problem for me. So many times I've had to kind of transform my environment and networks and supports over and over again, based on my growth and evolution. And that's been, you know, also hard and sad sometimes, I've found. It doesn't mean you have to break up with everybody. It's just that you want to make sure you're adding people in your life. So for me, when Future Wealthy Me was showing me this path of, you know, business and entrepreneurship and this big money mission and vision about what I was here to do and my purpose, et cetera, but where I was within these kind of very broke spiritual communities, where money and business were bad words, right? It was, you know, big discrepancy. So I needed to start to learn to hang out with what I like to call big-hearted business owners and entrepreneurs. And then I was guided to create spaces and places for us to all network, right? More spiritual, more big-hearted business owners and entrepreneurs that really want to make waves in this world and make a big difference, make a big impact for the lives of others, while also experiencing a wealthy life for ourselves. And so this was something I really learned the hard way, because I looked around and I just felt a lot of lack. I felt like there wasn't, like, I didn't know that this existed as a thing because I couldn't see it in my environment. So I had to do a lot of work going within to find it and be like, this is a thing, this is a thing. And then slowly but surely, right, things start to manifest externally. But one of the ways just to like fast track that is just to surround yourself with the right people, the right networks. So we want to think about the power of network and support. And one of the things that I learned as a recovering lone wolf, feeling like I'm supposed to hold it all and do it all by myself, right, is that support is a superpower. And what I know now is the more supported I am, the more successful I am. And I allow myself to be well supported as a strength, not a weakness. Because I used to think, because I'm a recovering like superwoman, perfectionist, I can do it all by myself. I'm supposed to do it by myself. I have to hold it all by myself. I'm alone. I'm unsupported. I'm too powerful, too intense, too much in this world, right? All of those parts of myself stop me from being supported, stop me from receiving. And at one point in my life, I realized that the level I got to, particularly when I hit my first like 6-figure year in my business, I was like, I looked around and I realized that there was no way I would have got to that next level if it wasn't for the support infrastructure around me and under me. I call them these pillars of support. And that was a combination of friends and team and, you know, just business colleagues, where I had enough people around me that I felt like it's okay, I have permission and I'll be loved and received. I needed to know that I'd be safe, loved, held, and received. That was one of my things, because I have a very deep kind of abandonment wound, old trauma that would really like shut me down from moving forward. So I needed to know that I had a handful of people that were with me as my support infrastructure, so I could keep going, keep rising beyond my comfort zone. So I have found personally, this is huge, but also professionally. And it's one of the things I've been guided to do, as created groups and spaces for high level conversation, quality connection, right? To keep rising, because I built what I needed that I didn't have, right? So we want to think about that. Get support and upgrade your environment. You don't have to, like I said, like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just find more people in your networks that are going to be aligned with where you want to go. Okay, so one of the things you can do is, if you're looking around and you're in the lack and the scarcity and there is no one, start calling it in. So I had this on my vision board for a while. It was like heart and soul aligned colleagues, friends, you know, partners, etc., team. And it kind of was sparked out of the lack of it. It wasn't around, it wasn't there. There's a lot of sadness, and I felt quite sad and alone. And then started to kind of manifest it, call it in, or insert yourself into other networks and communities. So maybe have a think, are there any networks and communities that you know of that you can get support from, right? Or start to call it in. What kind of support do you require, do you desire, in order to grow and keep moving forward? Because I know I would always kind of unconsciously bounce back, right, to my current environment with like maybe even just some friends that just weren't into business, weren't into entrepreneurship, or thought money was bad, all that stuff. It really limited me in my ability to move forward and be as bold and brave as I needed to be, until I started having the right environment, right networks around me. So what about you, right? How does this apply to you now? Super. So what's landing? Let us know in the chat. I'd really love to hear what is landing for you. Alrighty, so I want to recap here. So in today's training, what I promised you'd learn, I want to recap now. Why working harder, hustling, or pushing will probably create some results. You can create results from that place, but it won't create the energetic breakthrough that you're really looking for. And how the mechanics of manifestation really work, and the steps that work every time for everyone when done in the right order, right? That kind of blind spot, illogical stuff. These 6 patterns that block money, keep you spinning, and disconnect you from your true passion and purpose and creative power. And I promise that you know what's been blocking you from making the money you want, and know exactly how to get unstuck for good without hustling, working harder, or burning yourself out. I've learned all that the hard way as well. So let's recap again. So here's what you need to break through under earning, overworking, and hustling for success. Number 1, Declare what you want. Number 2, change your story. Rewrite your story. Your thoughts, your beliefs, what's possible, what's not possible. Number 3, release the energetic roots by feeling in. Feeling. Number 4, connect to who you must become, that future wealthy you. Step 5, close the gap by taking action even when it feels awful, when it feels bad. Number 6, get support. Upgrade your environment to stay on the path. I would say, well, all of those steps have been essential ingredients, but that last one was particularly surprising to me. Beautiful. So, my beautiful friends, now you have a choice. We are at choice point now. It is going to take less energy just to stay where you are, right in the looping, right in the flatlining, in the buffering, just staying in those old patterns of behavior. That will be your default. That will take very, very little energy. And it's very easy just to slipstream back into that. And, or you are ready. It is time for change, for transformation, for moving into your wealthy future, consciously creating your life on purpose. I believe also this is soul aligned. You'll know in your body, in your being. You may feel uncomfortable. You may feel scared. You may not know how. All normal to feel all those feelings, but it's time, right? You know what present life is like. Maybe it's not even that bad, but there's something calling you. It's like this hunger, this desire. It's calling, right? It is, I believe, your power, your creative consciousness calling you forward. So if you would like to dive a little bit deeper, here's how I can help at the end of today's masterclass. So what I've done is I've set some time aside in my calendar this week to help you get absolute clarity on what's blocking you or stopping you from embodying your wealth frequency, from really connecting to that future wealthy you, claiming what you want. This is one of my superpowers. I can see it and would like to help you know and see it for yourself. And the cost of this call is free, absolutely free. But there is only one of me and there are limited spaces available. So that's the only limitation here. And I've learned the hard way that I can't help everybody. My rescue savior complex is very disappointed with this information. I've learned also this the hard way. And one of the things I've learned is that not everyone is ready for this kind of transformation work. And that's okay, right? This is not for everyone. It's for certain souls, certain beings, certain bodies that I believe came here to do this work now. And it's just time. So I want to share with you from what I've learned, who I can help best at this time. So I'd say this free call is for you. If you're a subject matter expert, you have the capacity, you have the skills, and you have the desire to earn more, but you're feeling blocked. So you can be professional, you can be business owner, you can be entrepreneur. You've got skills and the capacity, but you're blocked. Also, you're experienced in self-development work. So you've done some work on yourself already. If you're therapy, mindset work, spiritual practices, you've done some inner work already. And most importantly, you desire to be powerful, not just lucky. So we're not just here to win the lottery, although that's cool. And we like open to that as well. But you want to create it. You want to build it. You want to make it, right? We're not just hoping it's going to fall out of the sky. It can also fall out of the sky, but we're not just sitting back passively because that's not you and your power, right? That's part of it. That's opening up to receiving. But I'm here to work with the people that want to build and make and create and innovate. So what we do on this call, right? The goal of this call is clarity. So I want you to have absolute clarity on your soul aligned vision, what you want, why you want it. This is aligned with you and it's one of my superpowers. I can tell when people are wanting things that are coming more from ego or lack of scarcity versus like what's aligned, what is soul aligned. You know too, it's just sometimes we need to be held to get real clarity on that. So that's one of the things that we do. And we're also going to identify what you're currently speaking, feeling, doing that's manifesting consciously or unconsciously, creating your current results. So we're going to identify what's going on in your present makeup energetic system that is creating your current results. That's another one of my superpowers. And also I help you to identify what's going on there. We're going to reveal what's blocking you from receiving at that next level. We're going to reveal that together. I'm holding a space. Again, I can see it and I can feel it. It's one of my superpowers. But one of the things I want is for you to know, for you to see, for you to feel. And so what we want at the end of this call is absolute clarity, so you know what is going on for you. I will help you. It's incredibly revealing. It's a very powerful call, very, very beautiful call. So, and right after this call, you get a huge amount of value just from this free call. But if we think it's a good fit to work together, and you'd like my support, right, you could potentially become one of the new clients that I take on this month, if it's aligned for you and we think it's the right fit for you. We really want to make sure, really want to make sure that everything we do is aligned for you and the right fit for you. So if it is, if we do end up working together, this is how we roll. We first connect you to your soul aligned vision so that you're in alignment with what you actually desire, not just what you think you want. What's super fascinating is that we're often going after things that isn't actually what we really want. It's so interesting. What is it that you desire? What's your rich, wealthy life? And then you're going to learn the exact tools, principles, and practices to help you manifest money, create opportunities from taking heart-centered, aligned action. And we're going to show you how to release the traumas, the stories, the patterns that have blocked you from embodying your wealth frequency, so you can operate from the frequency of possibility and owning your worth, owning your wealth, conscious creation, not fear, unworthiness, lack, not enough. And then from this place, we are rewiring your nervous system. We are literally rewiring how you think, how you feel, how you perceive, how you believe. So making receiving at a higher level your new normal. And this is one of the things we want to get you ready for what you want, because what happens, again, you see it with people who win the lottery, who actually aren't ready to receive, unmanifest, right? They get rid of it as fast as it comes in. You're going to be learning how to receive, how to have, how to hold, how to nurture, how to take care of. It's very, very powerful and very, very beautiful, beautiful work. And that is what's going to get you effortlessly manifesting 5-figure month with the ease and contentment you truly desire. Not to say that it's comfortable or it's easy, but there's a place of ease and flow within. And this is what we keep tapping you back into time and time again through our work together. So the next step is for you to book in for your one-to-one money mastery breakthrough session. Visit larawaldman.com/breakthrough. What you do is you pick a time. There are limited times, so please, if you're on live, grab it now. If you're catching the replay, grab it now. Answer all of the questions. So it's an application process. We want to make sure that the call is the right fit for you too. Please answer all the questions. If the questions aren't answered, the call will be canceled. So I want to make sure that I need to know where you are, what's going on. It's quite revealing. Everything is confidential. You're held in so much love and care and zero judgment. I have heard it all. I've seen it all. Nothing will shock me. You're not the only one. If you have any shame or fears coming up, answer all the questions, and then we'll book in a Zoom call together in the next week or so. So all you need to do now is go to larawaldman.com/breakthrough. The link is in the chat. Book in your call, and then we'll have a beautiful deep dive together. It's a very powerful call. It's a very revealing call and a very empowering call. And I want to show you that you have the ability to create in your life moving forward, no matter what's going on in your life. Beautiful. So thank you so, so much.